The Commanders, same division. They get Jaden Daniels back. They were 5-12. I don't know if they're going to win 10 games, but they have a lot of cap space. They're the oldest team in the NFL. The Commanders are going to be a different-looking team. Again, 7 one-score games. They won only 2. Dan Quinn is solid, if not exceptional. Cap space, lost a lot of close games. They get their quarterback back. Just don't forget how gifted he was as a rookie. The third team.
2 came around, they're like, well, even when he was playing, he wasn't that good. And it's like the team wasn't good and he was injured and he was in now the lineup. It's really hard. And what's frustrating is that he lost a year of development, and he does need to be developed. He is a special player. I already put him in the elite category mainly because of what he does with his arm, okay? His touch, his passing, not just his mobility. But I wanted to see him, and when you are a mobile quarterback like Jaden is, I want to see him get more in rhythm of that, more balanced in that, start to get a better idea of when it's time to run, when it's time to scramble to throw, and when it's time to just throw the ball away. Like, that takes time for a quarterback who has the skill set that Jaden has. So it's not going to be as linear. None of this growth is linear for any quarterback, but it's certainly going to be a lot more linear for like a Matthew Stafford, a Joe Burrow, because they have a little bit less tools in the toolbox that a Jaden has. But make no mistake about it, Jaden is a special pocket passer as well. And listen, I haven't been crazy about some of the moves that they've made, and Dan Quinn has been frustrating me. And I was a huge fan of them signing Dan Quinn and bringing him in. And he was a big reason why I was buying, the Commanders, why I was real, why I was, a big belief in them. But when I look at think about the defensive coaches right now that were hired or have been coordinators and have been great. I mean, Halfley, Emter, Mike McDonald, Rail, like those teams, Demo Ryan, those beat teams, those built teams. Yeah, those coaches built teams, built defenses that were elite, that were suffocating, that were special, that were anxiety-inducing, that you're like, man, we can just win games on the backs of our defense alone. Like, that's what I'm expecting the Commanders to do with Dan Quinn, and he hasn't done it in either of his years. And again, we could talk about injuries, we could talk about this, that, but it's just like, that's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting. I mean, think about if you built the W. Let's just think about this. If you just built the Houston Texans team, and you have Jaden over there, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Think about what the Seahawks had this year, okay, with the defense and the offense, Jackson Smith, Cooper Kupp, etc. If you put that defense for the Commanders, the Seahawks defense on the Commanders last year, it's like, how different does that team look? How different does that team look? And so to me, like, I'm excited to continue to see what Jaden Daniels can do and his evolution. But like I'm looking forward and this is what I had said before this past season started, when we were just having off-season talks. When you can create a team that puts Jaden Daniels as just a game manager, which all of a sudden now Colin's praising game management, something that I've been praising game management forever, talking about how in order to be special, you need to be an elite game manager. When you can allow Jaden to just be a game manager, like, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. His poise, his maturity, his accuracy, his legs, it's a wrap. When he can settle in game management with his skill set, when he can make the big throw, the check downs, the back shoulder fades, when he can, just, rip off a 4-yard run, right? Like all the C's part a little bit, and he just gets a nice little 4-yard run slide and pops up, flips the ball to the referee. Boom. 2nd and 6. Let's go, baby. 2nd and 6, like, it just like when they can slide into that role, build that type of team, you're golden. And then in the random game that you do need that elite play, you're giving defensive coordinators, like in the middle of the game, like they don't know what to expect. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. And in a lot of ways, speaking of the year before with the Philadelphia Eagles, like that's exactly what happened with Jalen Hurts and Eagles. They didn't need him to be this Superman or this elite game changer throughout the course of the season, but they certainly had it against the Commanders, unfortunately for the Commanders. Certainly had it against the Chiefs. They had brilliant game management against the Packers for sure, and that's why you always need to be able to wear different hats. But the Commanders haven't built that team right now. And this last season was a complete loss, obviously with all the injuries, etc. But even if they were fully healthy, I think you can see again, especially because if I'm looking at this now through like the lens of Dan Quinn, it's like I expect better. I expect more focus. I expect higher intensity. I expect to like feel the culture like I did with the Texans, the Seahawks, the Patriots. I haven't seen that from the Commanders even when they went to the NFC Championship game. I saw Jaden Daniels, I saw his magic, I saw Cliff Kingsbury as well, Tara McLaren, etc. Zach Z, like I saw the players, I didn't see the culture. And Jaden will always bring a lightness. That's his personality, and I love it. Jaden is exactly the type of player that I would absolutely positively love to play with, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But I want to see like more of a focused culture. I want to feel like, you know, even in these games, like throughout the course of the season, like you could feel the team give up. You could feel it. Compare that to the Texans when they lost CJ Straw. There was no sense of giving up. And because of that, they made the playoffs and they won a playoff game. Like that is the power of culture, man. That is the power of culture. But like Jin went down, and even though people believed in Marcus Mariota, like, hey, he's actually not too bad and he's a great backup quarterback and et cetera, like there wasn't really like, did you really see the defense elevate? Did you really see them rise to the occasion? Again, look no further than how you both played the Broncos. Yeah, the Commanders actually had a great fight up against the Broncos, which was a really fun game to watch. But did you see how suffocating the defense was when CJ Shaw got knocked out? You see how suffocating the Houston Texans defense was against Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos? Night and day. Absolute night and day. It was way more the heroics of, like, honestly, Marcus Mariota was balling in that game a little bit, and a gift from Bo Nix more than anything on the one interception, I think it was. And so I want to see the Commanders be able to just take, rather than just rely on some of these gifts and the specialness and the versatility of Jaden Daniels. And right now, the way they have been playing, honestly, even during their NFC championship, you know, run, fragility is too strong of a word, but it's definitely like Miami Dolphins-esque. You know, how Brew always calls them like breakdancers and whatnot. You know, I didn't always get that. I mean, I got it, but it was like I didn't always get like the emphasis, like why he's putting so much of an emphasis on that of all teams. And I would say that is what the Commanders had. And I think we've seen that now over these last couple of years. Think about how when they played the Eagles, things were actually kind of going well initially in that NFC Championship game, and it was a close game, but then the Eagles just bullied you, right? They just bodied up and were just like, no. And that's what we saw in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. That's what we just saw for the Seahawks against the Patriots. Like, you can be fast, you can be elusive. The same thing that why a lot of times the Ravens will come up short. It's just like, you just got bodied, man. You just got bodied. And that was also a big problem with the Commanders of like relying so heavily on Jaden to be the run game and whatnot. I mean, we saw that even against the Bucks in the wild card round. It was like they couldn't run the ball. They had to do all the trickery to convert third and fourth downs. There was never a moment when it was like, all right, 3rd and 2, just body up, let's go. Have this O-line, just get those 2 yards, let's do it. Like, there was never a moment, and if anything, that game was so close because of the bodying up of the Bucks. And so, you know, that style of play can only be sustained for so long. And so I do think there's, you know, a bit of a culture change and a philosophical change that needs to take place with the Washington Commanders. And it's impossible to see, right? I mean, I can't see it until you see it. But I do believe that Jaden is the man without a shadow of a doubt. And as long as this team is even remotely healthy, regardless of all the things that I just said, regardless of the whole rant that I just went on, they're still going to be trending up. They're still going to be better. Again, as long as Jane Daniels is healthy, and as long as you have a roster around you that's just good enough, that's just like competent. Yeah. Well, Jaden's brilliant enough to then always make this team at a minimum 8 wins, not, like, and I'm saying at a minimum, like in terms of like, you're always going to be like within this striking distance of making something happen. The rest is like, how good is the defense? Can you run the ball consistently, right? The rest is like, up to some of those things. Um, but I think Jay Daniels, has that floor of being that good, that as long as you just have a competent team and you're not just, you're not missing 15 starters or something, that you'll be good to go. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels? Do you think they are trending up according to Colin? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build a sub that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.